are going to build up to a pose called downward facing dog. So we're going to do a few warm-up poses, a little sequence, and build up to downward dog. So if you are doing this video, be sure to take a little snap of you in downward facing dog and post it onto your social media so that we can see your progress. So let's start warming up so that we can build up to our pose. So come onto your hands and knees and we'll warm up in cow and cat pose. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, hands nice and spread, flat against the mat. Pull your belly button gently into the spine and we'll start with cow pose. Inhale, arch the back, tilt the tailbone up, pull the shoulders away from the ears and look towards the ceiling. Now exhale, round the spine, push the mat away, tuck the tailbone under and look towards the belly button. We'll repeat this 3 more times. Inhale, arch. Exaggerating the arches. Exhale, round. Push against the mat and intensify the roundness of your back. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. We'll come back into a neutral tabletop position, so the crown of your head and the tailbone are more or less in the same line. We're going to start to get a wrist stretch, so turn the fingertips towards your body. You can do this one hand at a time or both hands at the same time. If that's just too intense for you, no problem. Turn the fingertips side to side. So if your fingertips are pointing back, either one hand or both hands at the same time, you can start to take cat and cow pose here for the next 3 to 5 breaths. You can also stop at the center, tuck your toes to get a foot stretch, and lean the weight back. So now you're getting a foot stretch and a toe stretch at the same time. If your fingertips are pointing away, that's great. Let's sway side to side, and maybe even start to take little circles. You can still tuck the toes so you get that foot stretch with everyone else. And we'll spend about 3 more breaths here. You can inhale, arch like in cat. Exhale, round like in cow. About 2 more breaths. Move your body, start to warm up. Last breath. We'll come back into a neutral tabletop position, fingertips forward, crown of the head and tailbone in a straight line, and we'll get a reverse wrist stretch. This is where you bring the tops of the hands down, palms pointing up. Then you can bend and straighten to get a wrist stretch and an arm stretch. This again can be done one hand at a time, or you can do both hands at the same time. And you have the option to bend and straighten, or just to hold straight and breathe deeply. 3 breaths. Great job. We'll start to come back into our neutral tabletop position. And we're going to step into plank pose, which is a great pose to warm up the body and strengthen the body. So step the right foot back and the left foot back. You'll notice my wrists are still under my shoulders and my heels are going to be more or less over the ball of my foot. This is a great position to take right before downward dog because all you have to do to achieve downward dog is hinge up from the hips, push the mat away with the flat hand. You can bend the knees and keep the heels lifted, drawing the heart or the chest closer and closer to the thighs. Keep your lower belly pulling in and up, shoulders away from the ears, and externally rotate the upper arm. You want your hands to be nice and flat on the mat, pushing in to the L's of the hands intensely and the pinky edges of the hands. You also want to push in to the knuckles in the palm. So what that means is all of the base of your fingers in the palm. You also can grip into the mat with your finger pads as you push the mat away and the ears and arms are in the same line. Once you start to feel a little more flexible, a little more comfortable, you can straighten the legs and draw the heels down. If you do this and you notice you're kind of walking the feet up or walking the hands back, that's where you want to come back into your plank pose, measure the distance between your hands and your feet. And when you push up, instead of walking the hands to the feet or the feet towards the hands, lift the heels and bend the knees. You want your sitting bones to be really high, like an upside down letter V. This is downward facing dog. Hold for about 3 to 5 breaths. Crunch your ribs together, pull your belly button in towards the spine. Two more long, slow, deep breaths. Last breath is always the deepest. Great job, guys. We'll lower the knees, have the big toes touch, and sit back into child's pose. Your knees can be slightly apart or together. Child's pose is where we find a little bit of observation time and notice how our body felt in our downward facing dog. About 2 more breaths here. You can roll up bit by bit, coming into a seated position. And we're done for today. So we warmed up into so that we could get into downward facing dog. So try these poses, move your spine, get your arms and legs ready for your downward facing dog. And when you're ready to come into it, then you just come into it nice and easy. Be sure to take a picture of you either doing cat and cow pose or downward facing dog and post it to your social media so that we can see all of your amazing progress. I will be back tonight for a little bedtime flow. And if you have any questions about your downward dog, just ask them in the comment section or send me a message and I'm happy to help you. You can even send me your picture and I'll make some adjustments if there's any at all. So I hope to see you again tonight for our bedtime flow, a sequence of poses that's meant to encourage sleep. So that'll be nice and fun, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thanks for being part of the challenge.